Hello and welcome back to my channel, the best place to be to discover exactly how your thoughts and your emotions are affecting your whole health. And this week I wanted to talk about how to really know yourself. I know it's kind of, well, you think, well, I know who the hell I am. But do you really know who you are? And do you really know how your thoughts and emotions are affecting your life? Not just your health, but everything that you think is exactly what you become and who you really are. Your thoughts and your emotions stem from your inner emotional beliefs, and those beliefs stem from inheritances. You know, you learn these things as you grow up, and you just take them on as being what and who you are. Yet, did you know that you can actually change those? If you aren't happy with your life, if you want to make changes in your life, then the best place to begin is to start to truly understand what your thoughts and your emotions are and how to make those necessary changes so that you can become more empowered, so that you can take more responsibility in a very healthy, generative way. I apologize. I so wanted to do a video outside today, and it's been windy and gray, and the sun will peek out. Anyway, I got myself tucked into this little corner of my house outside so that I could do one outside before the weather gets nasty here in Canada, and I can't be outside. So if you've been following along, you'll know that I love to be outside. I love to stay grounded, be in nature. And so I'm going to do these outside as long as I can. And then once the weather's crappy, unfortunately, we will be back inside. Without further ado, let's move along with this week's video. So if you've ever wanted to stop being a slave to your emotions, or maybe you've just wanted to take more control of your health and your life in a much better, more generative, dynamic way, then this is the right place to be. Because in order to take back your power, you have to really know who you are. You have to objectively understand yourself like no one else does. And the best way to do that is to start taking some more ownership and control over your thoughts and your emotions. In order to truly take back your power, you need to truly know yourself. And I mean as objectively as you can on every single level. And what do I mean by level? Well, I mean not just your physical body, but your soul and your spirit as well. Now I'm sure you're thinking, okay, here we go, the woo-woo soul spiritual being. But what I will say is every time you hear somebody talking about the soul and the spirit, that actually what they're talking about is your thoughts and your emotions. Because your soul and your spirit that's your uniqueness. That's who you uniquely are. That I being that no one else is but you. And the way it expresses itself here on earth as a physical human being is through your thoughts and your emotions. Now I know it seems pretty easy to go, well, I can take control of my thoughts and my emotions, but can you really? The best way to really begin to know yourself is to start to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. And not just your body, but what your soul and spirit is saying through that physical body. Because if you've been following along, you'll know your physical symptoms are your body's way of trying to get your attention. It's how your soul and your spirit are trying to tell you what it needs help with. And the way to know what those symptoms mean is to listen not just externally, not just through how you're feeling, how your body looks, if there's anything coming up like acne or rashes, things like that. Is it itchy? Is it hot? Is it burning? So not just externally paying attention to what your body's telling you, but also internally what your body is trying to tell you. Learning to connect to your intuition. And it's funny because when I was younger, I so wanted to be able to be really intuitive. And I read so many books on developing your intuition. And the crazy thing is, it's really not as hard as you think it is. It's quite simple to really learn to listen within. And to begin to learn to listen to within, you first have to learn to listen without. And you know, there's a lot of amazing individuals who over the years have certainly helped me learn to listen to what my body is trying to tell me. Louise L. Hay back in the 80s was the very first person who I got her book, and I followed along. And you know, it's interesting how when you start to read something and it says, oh, I have an ache over here, and that's what my body's trying to tell me. As much as it sounds hokey, it's not. Your physical body is expressing everything that's going on an internal level. And the only way for you to truly make changes is to begin to listen. And like I said, Louise L. Hay is a great person if you want, you know, to start seeing very simple chunks of what the body is trying to speak of to yourself. Thorwald Deflison is another individual who goes deep into, you know, health issues and how it's expressed in the body. Even Rudolf Steiner helped me to really understand how every event, every occurrence, everything that was going on in and around my life was meant for me, was my perception and my take is actually necessary for me to learn to simply know myself better. I just tell this story, it's like, you know, I could walk down my laneway with you and we could be walking along having our own conversation, but internally we're experiencing life in our own unique way based on our upbringing and our past experiences and our beliefs and all of these things. And if a deer jumps out in front of us, we're each going to have a different perspective on what that deer means to us. And so I may stop and go, and I apologize, the wind is rocking my camera, but I might stop and go, oh, how beautiful that is, because I've always had great experiences with deer. But maybe you've had a really bad experience, or maybe you have been in a car accident because of a deer and somebody was traumatically injured, or again, all perspective. So it's how that experience needs to speak to you, and how it speaks to you is what you need to take away from that. And then how you need to resolve that is based on that experience. So I'm going to go through the ways that I began to first learn to listen to myself, and hope that some of these steps will help you in taking a little bit more control and learning how to really listen to yourself. Because if you've never stopped to take time, it's never too late. Now is a really good time to stop and take back your power. And these are the best exercises to learn how to take back your power, so you become less of a victim in life and more of a very powerful, self-assured, amazingly wonderful being. So the first exercise I really worked on was actually thought control. And this was a Steiner exercise. There's a video, which I'll post the link below, that I've already done talking about thought control. But I'll give you a brief synopsis today. Because again, it's really, really essential for us to start to understand that you are in control of your thoughts. So the way I learned to do that is to simply make a note and take time every day to stop yourself at least 2-3 times a day and pay attention. What am I thinking right now? What thoughts are rambling through my brain? Is it something that I can do anything about right now? Am I dwelling on past events or things I got to do in the future, but I can't really do anything about it right now, and yet it's causing me stress and chaos right now? So take back that control. Go, okay, well, make a note that, okay, if it's in the past, well, make a note to, if I'm connecting to it and I'm dwelling on it, then obviously it's an issue I need to deal with. But I'm going to deal with it in my own time, in my own way, or with support of a practitioner. Or if it's something I have to do in the future, make a note that I am going to get to this then, and then let it go. Simply beginning to recognize that you have that power over yourself, that you can stop and you can change your thoughts and you can direct the thoughts how you best choose, is a really, really great exercise that I would like you to start trying. Now again, remember, all of these exercises that I give you ideas for, trust me, you'll do them for a while and then you'll fall off the wagon for a while. But remind yourself to pick them back up again, or rewatch this video in a little while and you'll go, oh yeah, I was going to do that exercise, because I've been there and done that. You know, I do the exercises religiously for quite a while and then life gets in the way and then I get off on a tangent over here. And then something happens and I go, oh, I really need to start getting myself back into a better place. And that's where the thought control is your best starting point. The second thing you can start to do is really start to be attentive to your emotional responses. Pay attention to how you're feeling. And the best time to do that, of course, is when they're really out of control. When something has triggered you emotionally is a really good time to stop and reflect on, obviously I have some emotional connection to this event or this person or this thing, and I need to really look at that. Because here's an interesting thing and a trick to be aware. If you are emotionally reacting to anything in life, that's yours. It's not theirs, it's yours, but it's dwelling up from something else you're hanging on to, an old trauma, an old belief, an old perspective, an old issue that you just haven't actually worked through. And you've just been stuffing it in and holding it down and denying it, ignoring it, doing whatever you need to do to get through your day-to-day forward life. But at the same time, if you don't stop to solve those issues and you don't release them fully in a better way, they will always haunt you. And they will always seemingly give control to somebody else, because sometimes it just takes the snap of a certain word to trigger you to be angry, be upset, be stressed, be fearful. Whatever it is, those emotions are yours. So remember, you can choose to keep responding in that way, or you can choose to do something about it. And if you're struggling with, well, how the heck do I stop? Reach out to me, please. And I'm happy to help walk you through, because that's exactly what I do. Trust me, I have lots and lots of those emotional baggages. I said it's like dragging around loads and loads of carts full of emotional crap that if you're tired of carrying it, let it go. And I can help you with that letting go. And if you follow along, the next number of videos in this series, I'm going to actually be talking about emotional baggage and how it affects us. Not just on a physical level, but on a mental, emotional level as well. And great ideas and tips to start releasing those. So stay tuned, because I'm going to do that in the next video and beyond. Now, last but not least with this video is, if you've taken the time to stop and daily reflect on your thoughts, take some control of them, take some ownership, reflected on your emotions, again, taking some stock, and started to make some changes, and really reflecting, or at least even keeping track of your emotions and what triggers them, because that's a great exercise. But all of these exercises is an act of will, and it's your will forces. It's your free will to choose to make these changes, and that in and of itself is incredibly empowering. And I want you to really give yourself a thumbs up, a kudos for taking that time, being willing to take responsibility for your thoughts and your emotions. It's not that easy. And to be quite honest, the majority of people just don't want to take responsibility because, well, it is easier to live in denial. And it is easier, well, it's not really, but we think it's easier to live in denial, and we think it's easier to lay blame on somebody else. But ultimately, when you do that, you've given away your power, and then you really have no right or say in anything. So knowing that you do have control over your thoughts and your emotions, and you do have free will, is an incredible gift that you can give yourself. And it will go a long way in making you be a truly authentic, empowered individual, and you'd be surprised at the changes that it can make in your life for the good, both in your health and in your life. Thank you so much for hanging around, listening to all this. Let me know. Do you think that these exercises are something that you can do? Do you take responsibility for your thoughts and your emotions? And if so, how? I would like to know. Please let me know. Reach out to me here or on Instagram, on Facebook. I'll put links below for you to follow me along if you want to check me out there. Remember, next week I'm going to talk about grief. So make sure you ring the bell, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next bunch of videos, because we're going to go through emotional stuff. Have a most amazing week. Hopefully it's not as windy and crazy where you are. Remember, be authentic, be empowered, and own it completely. Bye.